I stole everything from everyone my whole childhood. Warning, some audiences may find this content disturbing. View at your own discretion. Welcome to the House of Reddit. Today, we share some recent r/confessions posted on Reddit. I stole everything from everyone my whole childhood. It wasn't just the usual sticky fingers type of thing that all kids go through. I literally couldn't stop stealing things. I wasn't medically diagnosed, but you could describe me as a kleptomaniac, someone with an irresistible urge to steal things. A pen that holds absolutely no value to me but meant everything to the girl whose dead father gave to her? Mine now. A pair of shoes that were the exact copy of the shoes I had? Well, now I had two pairs. We had a show and tell day and this boy brought in his favorite dragon figure. I went so far as to stuff it in my pants and sit in the most uncomfortable position through the whole lunch period just so I could think about how I was going to get this to my backpack. Even junk that I knew I would never use in my lifetime were fair game, used hairbrushes, shirts that were 3 sizes too small, just everything. By the time I was 8 I could have opened up my own thrift store with how much junk I had amassed from the poor souls who had no clue their friend was quietly invading their inventory of stuff. I even started stealing more valuable things as well. An expensive headset, money from misplaced wallets, an Xbox controller, DS games. It was a pretty long and horrible con that I couldn't break myself out of. It wasn't until I was caught, 12/13-ish, that everything that had been hiding in my room came to light. My parents weren't really there for me back then, so hiding it wasn't really a problem. If the person of the stuff I stole was still living where we were, I was forced to apologize and give whatever I stole back. We were military, so we moved pretty often. I pretty much lost all my friends' trust as well as my family's, and I was immediately put into therapy and on 24/7 guard watch. Even to this day, I'm about to be 21, whenever someone loses something, the blame immediately goes to me, even though I haven't stolen a thing since the day I was caught. It's annoying and a painful reminder that I wish would go away. I lied about going to a funeral just to get a day off. About 5 or so years ago I worked for this horrible company where it was almost impossible to get any annual leave approved. As a result of this, I ended up working every weekday from January to August one year. I know that may not sound like a big deal to some, but during that time I had missed 2 of my close friends' weddings, my nan's 70th birthday, my aunt's 50th birthday, and a few other little bits that were important to me. On top of that, my mental health was in the toilet at that time, but I was told if I had any more sick days that year, I would have to go through an investigation and my job could potentially be at risk. I had had 4 all year, 1 was for a small surgery. These facts, coupled with complete emotional burnout, led me to do what I did next. One day in late August, my bio dad phoned me to tell me my granny had died. I hadn't seen her for almost 8 years by then, but I was sad for him. He told me that I would be expected at the funeral. It's probably worth noting here that my bio dad and I are not close either. I see him once a year and have done for the last decade plus. I'm not close with any of his side of the family, and my anxiety went into overdrive at just the thought of being in a room full of basically grieving strangers. I told him I would ask work, thinking they would probably say no. Turns out, the law means they have to say yes, so I was granted a day's leave to attend the funeral. I saw my opportunity and I ran with it. Work thought I was there. I told my dad work had said no, and I had a lovely day off playing video games and napping. I felt pretty guilty at the time and do occasionally even now. Just wanted to get this off my chest. I let people steal from the store I used to work at. A few years back I used to work at an extreme revalue store. You buy name brand items for 30 to 90% off the real retail value. Mostly overstock from other stores, like Walmart and stuff. We sold things like food, toys, furniture, clothes, etc. Literally any fucking thing you can think of. My favorite item found to this day was a 2-foot, blue dick candle for your living room decor. Lol. Considering it was almost like a thrift store, it was extremely unorganized and didn't have very many rules. Put items on the shelves and clean the dust bunnies around the cash register was our motto. No, but seriously it was. We had 0 cameras or alarms throughout the store, so it was free game to anyone who came in. I don't live in the best area, so we would get an array of humans in and out of our store. My favorite human was the homeless gentleman who always got naked and slept in our lounge chairs, but I'll save that story for another time. Lol. Knowing what I knew about the store, I would let anyone steal anything from our store, You want a jar of Vienna sausages? Get your whiner on, son. You want a new skateboard? Do an ollie before you leave. New pair of heels? Shove IT in your stroller with your toddler. I was getting paid minimum wage at that place, was worked like a slave, and the manager was a dick pimp, so I didn't give 2 squirts of piss out of my cooter what happened there. I would personally find damages and throw them into the dumpster and tell the homeless people to climb in there and get it. I threw away a new dining room table and chairs because there was a scratch on it. It was all charity work in my eyes. None of our items were tracked/logged, so if we lost something, it didn't mess up our sales. We had so much stuff that we didn't find that important. Also, we made our own tags at our store and personally placed them on every single item we received. I caught people switching tags multiple times. For example, a new crock pot was rung up as a $10 hydro flask, but I never cared. The people who stole were the ones who genuinely needed it. I used to let a woman take a few food items once a week just to get her and her kids by. Not a shit ton of food, but enough to feed them babies at least one good meal a week. I feel good about the things I did because fuck capitalism, and also I helped a lot of people. I never let any of them use me in any way, and they knew I could call the cops at any second. If you don't expose me, I won't expose you. We had a bargain. And the funny thing was that I was offered the manager position for being a good employee but turned it down and found another job. When I was 13, I vandalized some cars and a house with my gum. It was during the summer before my 8th grade year, and at the time I was very bored out of my mind. There wasn't really anything for me to do, as I had absolutely no friends and my house isn't exactly child-friendly when it comes to entertainment. As in, if you're not using electronics, reading books, or talking to people, you're fresh out of luck. So then I got an idea. I bought some gum with my money plus used the gum I was chewing and already had on me, and I went around the neighborhood vandalizing things with my gum. I made smiley faces on car windows, trees, etc. I also put a lot of gum on the outside wall of a house, both with the gum I was chewing and gotten sick of and with the gum I had in my pocket when I was sure no one was looking. At the time I was having a lot of fun vandalizing things and being a general nuisance when all of a sudden I realized that what I was doing was illegal, and if I was caught I would get a royal swooping by my parents, so I panicked and ran the fuck home. When I got home, I pretended everything was normal, but in reality I was so scared out of my mind that someone saw me because it was midday and people are generally very active during that time. Plus, it was pre-COVID and the area where I live is decently populated, so I definitely probably was gonna be caught. But thankfully, I never was, as no one ever came to my house to report to my parents what I'd done, and I was able to pretend that nothing of interest went on that day. However, I was still scared out of my mind, so I didn't step one toe outside for months until I realized it was safe to go out. When I checked the places I vandalized, I saw it had gotten cleaned out and that there was barely, if any, trace of what I'd done. It's been 2 years since that happened and I'm 15 now. While I can't say that I regret it, I do know now that it was definitely wrong and that if I really was caught I would have faced a lot of consequences. I stole about 1 month's pay worth of groceries from my employers. For several years now I've been working in local supermarkets. I started out as a part-timer, then worked full-time, and now I am back to part-timing again due to various reasons. In every place I have worked I was stealing the groceries I was working with by eating them out of the security camera site. I have quickly learned that there are no cameras in the walk-in freezers and coolers. I would go inside, almost close the door, the lights go off when you shut the door, and just find something to eat: ice cream on a stick, milk bar, sometimes even yogurt. When I was working in the bakery department I'd take out a frozen raw croissant, let it thaw in the counter and eat it like that bit by bit. I loved the dough. I'd also eat the leftovers during evening cleanup, which was not allowed. To not get found out, I'd put the ice cream wrapper into zippered pocket of my trousers or my sweatshirt and throw it into the trash bin when on a break, stuff it into my bag, to the compartment no one ever checked, or even take it home as no one checked my pockets either. With the yogurts and stuff that comes in non-flat packaging, I'd simply throw it into the write-off pile as damaged and attribute it to customers. It's not really rare to find an empty bottle of yogurt milk in the store itself, so no one batted an eye, if they even got the chance to see it. I have zero idea how much I have stolen this way, but I do it at least once a week and the items weren't exactly cheap either. I am also not entirely sure why I was doing it. Partly because I simply wanted to eat those items but didn't want to pay the price, Partly because I was bored, as I have discovered on one of my latest shifts. It wasn't that I was hungry or didn't have the money to buy it. I simply didn't want to pay and took advantage of my position. I have decided several times in the past that I won't do it again, and then did it anyway. Recently I was put on a strict diet due to an illness which has knocked some sense into me, but only because I can't anything I stock into the shelves because of my health, not because of the fact it's stealing. Sometimes I just feel like a criminal and think that I deserve punishment, yet I cannot bring myself to admit to this, as that would cost me not only my current job but all the next ones as well. I have tried to get a different job, one where I wouldn't work with edible items, but I had no luck. Right now I am trying to find a way to establish my own business so that I can leave this job, but it'll take a while still. I do expect karma to bite me in the ass one day for this. If you enjoy this video, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for future videos, please let us know in the comments below. Turn on the notifications to know when we post new videos. Thank you for coming to the House of Reddit.